Hey everybody, it is Matty here with Altcoin Buzz with you on this Sunday. I hope you're having a great one. And today we are discussing this piece on Uptrend by Jan Buddha, who believes in Bitcoin. As we've been discussing, Altcoin Buzz is sticking out our own position on Uptrend. We really like the platform and we're being exposed to all kinds of great content that other people are creating, are producing. So we'll take a look at these 10 reasons that Jan Buddha believes in Bitcoin and in blockchain by extension. We'll also update you guys as per what Louis Vuitton, the French designer, is doing in terms of League of Legends. They're in the world of video games all of a sudden, and this is being covered by none other than CNN Business. Luxury brands are working with video games. Yes, Louis Vuitton is the latest to get in on the act. So a bit of a shorter news cycle today, but we're going to look at those couple of items. We're going to begin, however, with a snapshot of the market on coinmarketcap.com. Total market cap is down a little bit today, $213 billion. Bitcoin dominance at 68% flat. And at the time of this recording, Bitcoin is above 8K at $8,067. That's down about 1.3% over the course of the last day. And we're now looking at this piece, I Believe in Bitcoin by Jan Buddha. I believe in Bitcoin and I believe in cryptos. It may sound like I believe in miracles, but not really, notwithstanding that the crypto market has been bleeding this week after the sharp fall of Bitcoin and other alts in the day. So most importantly, this is this individual's subjective personal opinion. It is not financial advice. As they write, I have my own reasons why I prefer cryptos rather than traditional fiat, and here we go. The number one reason that Jan Buddha believes in cryptos is the recent economic slowdown and upcoming global recession. He lists a whole bunch of factors that were highlighted by Forbes magazine, the following effects that led to the downturn, or at least contributed: falling car sales, falling of exports, which affects China, India, South Korea, Japan, other economies, very slow growth in major economies such as those in the EU, Germany, and others, terrible interest rate spikes in Argentina, flat growth or unrecognized recession in Mexico, Brazil, and the rest of Latin America. And then you have the turmoil over in the UK with regards to Brexit and some of the undesirable side effects that come with that political situation. And of course, the negative impact on export and manufacturing sector in the US. Now, these are just some reasons. You could probably list more if you wanted to, but we've seen individuals like Max Kaiser. We've seen other prominent individuals that say, given everything that's happening, yes, people are looking to cryptos, to Bitcoin, to blockchain as a hedge against the more traditional economic structures that are so geopolitically linked that it's giving some people pause, right? Because part of the system falters in one corner of the world. Well, in today's world, that reverberates to every other corner on the globe. Reason number two that Jan believes in Bitcoin: debt rates are out of control, not only at the individual level, unfortunately, but also at the level of nations, as is written here: Japan, Greece, Venezuela, Italy, Portugal, the US, France, Brazil, Spain, UK, and others. As you see, there are very important economies on this planet, and a lot of economists state that the ratio to be considered as affordable to handle is below 80% versus GDP, so debt versus GDP, that is. So the aforementioned countries are out of that reach. And if at a certain point that national debt in one country or in a group of countries becomes unsustainable, well, of course that's going to trickle down into their currency, which is government issued, which is issued value based on what the government says. And if nobody has faith in that government anymore because of their debt, because of other problems that they've encountered, well, obviously that's going to affect the perceived value collectively of that currency. And so debt is a very important reason. I agree with Jan. And then for number three, you have a whole list of sub-reasons, really, other side effects of economic restraint. You have pension crises in countries all over the world where the pension programs are no longer sustainable for the long term and they have weakened substantially. At the level of debt, we discussed national debt. Individual debt, of course, exists really all over the world at this point in the form of individual student loans and other kinds of personal loans. You have massive emigration or immigration, depending on which country we're talking about. And people in general just don't have enough cash. A lot of them depend on credit cards and loans just to get by. At number four, we have trade wars, which exist currently between ostensibly the United States and China, but you have other factors and other variables that are kind of cooking behind the scenes. You have the BRICS countries, and by those I mean Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, I believe is the S on the BRICS. They're talking about new systems, new banking policies internationally on a global scale. You have here this individual, Jan, talks about China, Russia, and Iran, who have started to negotiate oil and yuan prices instead of US dollars. dollar prices, which has been interpreted as an imminent threat against the US dollar. So those are certainly big factors. And as a segue into number 5, of course, what starts as an economic conflict can escalate quite easily into a violent conflict, or one where warfare is involved, unfortunately. At number 5, potential global conflicts. Some of these superpowers are getting on each other's nerves. There are tensions right now that are surfacing, certainly between the US and Iran. Not to get into that whole topic, but that is something that could evolve in a negative way. Unfortunately, people forget, or tend to forget, that the US is still currently involved in international wars, in Iraq, of course, in Afghanistan. Those have not ended as far as I know. We don't talk about them anymore because we've become complacent about them largely, but certainly the prospect of war is always one, unfortunately, that looms on the horizon in today's world. At number 6, the lack of transparency on declaring economic metrics such as inflation, such as maybe even the value of a currency. We've heard about currency manipulation by some foreign actors, certainly, as well as the GDP. International GDP can be interpreted in different ways. You guys are a smart audience, of course. You know there are lies, there are damned lies, and there are statistics. You can basically manipulate numbers as long as you have a large enough sample set of data to say just about anything you want if you are a competent statistician. And that's the problem, unfortunately, with that particular sector of mathematics. At number 7, major stock markets peaked out a few days or a few months ago. The example is given of the Dow Jones that has peaked at 27,219 points on September 13th. At number 8, central banks printing massively huge loads of money. We are talking quantitative easing, which of course dilutes the existing value of the currency supply that's already out there in the world, and that detracts from the credibility of any one given currency. That's how people collectively are going to interpret it. There's no question about that. And at least in my opinion, we have to remind ourselves of the precedents that we've seen all over the world. Jan gives the example of 1923 in Germany, referring to the Weimar Republic. Hyperinflation, unfortunately, is a reality. Zimbabwe and Venezuela are countries that also come to mind as examples. It can happen, and we've got to guard against that possibility. At number 9, the Fed and other central banks have run out of bullets to tackle economic crises. So at the end of the day, there are only really so many ways you can prop up a failing economy, or one that is not founded on true value creation. So for example here, yes, the Fed has cut interest rates. Yes, quantitative easing has been printing money like crazy and bailing out companies, the too big to fail so-called companies. But this is only kicking the can down the road. You cannot keep applying these bandages or these patches indefinitely. And the question has to be asked, what's going to be happening the next time these issues, these problems come around? So this mechanism of what is happening now is something like this. You owe 30,000 US dollars. No, you cannot pay it. So you ask for another loan. You pay the first, but now you have one more to settle. So it isn't aimed to solve the problem in any way. It's just a temporary resolution that doesn't really fix the underlying issue. And at number 10, a much larger topic that I don't intend to get into, but the environmental crisis finally is why Jan believes in Bitcoin. So 10 very good reasons here. And if you guys are not on Uptrend, I would recommend that you join, that you check it out, get a feel for it, and get involved in the comments as well, which are very rich, which are very mature and civilized from what I've seen so far. And hey, the content creators, as you can see here, jump right in and join the discussion, which is very refreshing and very nice to see. So let us know what you think about this article, guys, and participate in the conversation. We invite you to do that. It's a much better way to share your thoughts and ideas versus other platforms that we've seen. And now to wrap up, something totally different today. At Altcoin Buzz IO tweeting the following: Louis Vuitton, the French designer, is making virtual items in League of Legends developed by Riot Games that people can buy with real money. Yes, it's only a matter of time until these items get on the blockchain for authenticity and ease of transfer. So again, this isn't quite blockchain news just yet, but here on CNNbusiness.com, luxury brands are working with video games. Louis Vuitton is the latest to get in on the act. And I agree with our tweet that we put out earlier, of course. I think it's only a matter of time until this evolves into the blockchain space. But if you want to read about what's happening currently and what the situation is, get the lay of the land, check out this article. We will link to it in the description below. That's about it for today, everybody. Do be sure you are following us on all the regular social media channels and keep checking back into our website, altcoinbuzz.io, for all the latest. If you enjoyed today's video, go ahead, like, subscribe, share, hit the bell to receive notifications. That way you are up to speed with our latest content. I wish you only the very best of luck, members of the Altcoin Buzz Army, if you choose to invest. But enjoy your Sunday, everybody. Enjoy the tail end of your weekend. And we hope to see you again soon in our next video. Take care.